Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm going to be playing some Atari. It's been a while since I did a stream. I don't know. I think it was Halloween or something was the last stream I did. And so I thought I always enjoyed the Atari streams, and I couldn't figure out what else to play. I was almost considering doing like a Nintendo stream, but I just changed it. Atari always is fun. Let's just stick with Atari. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have a theme today. I think I'm just going to play some random stuff. Maybe if somebody wants to throw some ideas in the chats, I might play those. It's always nice to get some feedback. Hey, we got Adam Henry in the chat. What's going on, man? And I thought I would try a little bit of Dig Dug today. I always like this game. I mean, it's not one of my more favorite ones, but I think it's a well-rounded game. It's well done for the Atari, and it really does capture the feel of the arcade version of it. Whoa. Oh, looks like we have Green Lantern in there. Made the live stream. Uh-oh, he's getting away. Dang it. I forgot, the last guy always runs away. Hopefully my volume is okay, if everybody can hear me. I might have been messing around with my settings when I was doing some videos earlier. But if you can't hear me, you can always put that in the chat. Of course, if you can't hear me, you can't hear me saying that. I'm sure somebody would have said something by now. Get this guy first, and then I'm going to be able to get that guy because he's going to run. I should be able to catch him. And he's going to come up with the... There we go. All clear. Perfect. Now let's see if I can squish this guy with the boulder. There you go. I gotta be careful because that weird looking dude up the top there. Oh jeez, I just got fried. That weird dude that kind of looks like Cubert without his nose. Okay, so I got... Oh, he's escaping. He's escaping. Another game that's kind of like this is Mr. Do. And, I don't know. I almost picked up the cartridge the other day at this gaming store. They had a bunch of like Atari games, most of the ones that I already have them. But they had Mr. Do, and for some reason I don't have that one on Atari. I have the other one, Mr. Do's Castle, which, funny enough, is much more rare and expensive. So somehow I ended up acquiring a copy of that one. But I don't have the original Mr. Do, which is more like this game, like a Dig Dug style game. And I was considering picking it up. They had the one that's in the white Coleco shell, so it looks like it almost looks like a ColecoVision game, but it's white. And but they wanted like $9 or $9.99 for it, and I'm like, that's a little high. I don't think it's a rare cart. I think it's more of a common. So I don't know. At the time I just didn't feel it. It's again, it's not one of my more favorite games, but I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind and go and pick it up anyway. Like, I have Mr. Do for the ColecoVision, and I think that's also what I was thinking too. It's like I have it on the Coleco, so if I want to play it, I can play it on the ColecoVision, or I can play it on an emulator. But I just thought it'd be cool to maybe own the cartridge as well. Perfect. Got them all. Atari VCS archive. Whoa. Uh-oh. Well, that was close. Dang it. Again, I'm having this problem where I can only see I can't see the full chat. So I'm trying to read as much as I can, but I don't know, I think the browser I have, when it updated, it's acting strange now. It doesn't let me resize that chat box so I can read while I'm playing. I think I need a bigger monitor. Maybe that'll do it. Bigger monitor, a better computer. Okay. The owner of a tooth protector cartridge. That's expensive, isn't it? I've heard about tooth protectors. That's an expensive cartridge. It's one of those rare ones. The rarest cartridge I have would probably be the Chase the Chuck Wagon. I think that's what it's called, Chase the Chuck Wagon. I have the game in the manual, but I don't have the box. The manual's nothing special though, it's just a folded over piece of paper. Uh-oh, come back, come back. No! Ah! Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of these cartridges that came out from these, like, you know, brand names, you know, like Chase the Chuck Wagon was Purina, I believe, and the tooth protectors, that was some dental association or something, I don't know. Oh! Trying to get kids to brush their teeth by offering them some Atari games. Oh man, that sucked. Let's see what I need to be able to read the chat properly here. Ads before the live stream. Oh, they're putting ads there, okay. What would you say is your more expensive game? Oh, I just answered that question. $300. Whoa. Yeah, see? That's a lot of money. Maybe if I stretch my window to be up here. Just play around here. No, that's not working either. Before I used to be able to shrink the window and the writing would wrap around and then I could still read it. Because this Atari thing, it stays in the middle of the screen. Let's play this abomination for now. This is the Donkey Kong Jr. for the Atari 2600. Probably my least favorite version. It's almost unplayable. I mean, they made a valid attempt at trying to make this game work, but a lot of problems with it, and Junior himself doesn't look right at all. Uh-oh. Ah, jeez. Snapjaw things. Come on. Ah, you little... Come on, jump off. Dude. He didn't want to jump off. He just stayed on the rope. Ah! Hey, the Atari Creep. Live on Instagram, too. Yeah, we always end up streaming at the same time. Although I know the Creep always was doing his Instagram on Sunday night. I actually wanted to stream last night, but I don't know. I think I just got lazy. This whole weekend I've just been feeling lazy. I haven't been doing a whole lot. I was like, you know, home earlier today and I was thinking of, you know, filming some videos and stuff, and I mean, I was editing some stuff, but I don't know, this whole weekend, it's just been a lazy weekend for me. Just been tired or something, I don't know. I blame the horrible weather we've been having. But yeah, you know, I had some time this morning, and instead of doing a video, I ended up watching The Matrix. And funny enough, you know, I've never seen the movie before. So it was my first time actually watching The Matrix. And, you know, after seeing that, it cleared up a lot of memes I've seen on the internet now that I understand what they mean now. Because, you know, I don't know why I never saw the movie. It just kind of just never hit my radar, or I don't know. It was odd that I just never seen it before. And then it was coming on the movie network that we have. You know, so I pay for this movie network package thingy. And I saw that it was coming on, and I'm like, you know what? I need to actually sit down and watch that. I haven't seen it yet. And so I put it on the Matrix, and I watched it. I was actually quite, you know, I enjoyed it. Maybe that was probably why I didn't watch it before. Maybe I thought, you know, it wouldn't be something I would be interested in. I don't know. It's just like I don't mind some sci-fi stuff. Obviously, I like things like Back to the Future, but I never really got into a lot of those other real sci-fi style movies. So maybe I just thought I wouldn't like it. But you know, it's Keanu Reeves. He makes some good stuff. Man, the jumping in this game is just terrible. Whoop. Yeah, I'm missing the Atari creep doing his Instagram right now, but I can always catch it later on YouTube after he uploads it. Yeah, that new YouTube policy thing is really messing with a lot of us content creators, especially, you know, where we don't really fully understand what they're meaning by content for kids and where we classify things. And I mean, for me, I just on a channel level, I said I don't my channel's not for kids. You know? And I say that because I know for a fact that my audience is not kids. Most of my audience are people that are like me. They're my age. They're you guys in the chat right now. There's probably seldom where I get like little kids watching my channel, and maybe it's only because their parents are watching it or something. And holy crap, I can't get by that area. Just kidding. But you know, it's what's worrisome is what I saw on the No Swear Gamers video, where they've flagged a couple of his videos already as for kids. And he didn't really have any say in it. I guess he can contest it or whatever. You know, you can tell YouTube you disagree and you want to like get a different review. And it was funny because there was only certain ones. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to go back in the chat here. I'm gonna have to stop every once in a while so I can keep up with the chat. I've only ever played on a 3-inch black and white set built in the stereo. What? YouTube got slapped by the government for illegally collecting information on children, and to keep from being slapped harder, they said they would make the content providers so they get slapped. Exactly. I mean, if my channel becomes made for kids, that's it. It's pretty much doomed. I think that'll happen to a lot of us. If you got videos that could be deemed appropriate for children, and they are not marked as such, you get fined a minimum of $43,000 per incident. What? Yeah, but they'll hurt channels that don't deserve to be hit. Exactly. So anything that has to do with video games, toys, model, board games, no matter how grotesque their subject matter may be, is for kids. Well, that's where the transparency's coming in. That's where we're kind of like, we don't get it. Retro Nostalgic Nerds videos are in danger of being deleted, and that sucks. Yeah, well, that's all toys. The Atari 2600 dude, what's going on, man? Well, there was no swearing, and you reviewed a $700 Lego Technic set that's for kids. You're getting fined. Yeah, well, hopefully that's not going to be the case. I mean, we say that. I already know of channels closing because of... Well, I think some people are jumping the gun. They don't know for a fact that it's going to affect their channel. But I think there are a lot of people who do review like kid stuff. Yeah, and they do target children that are going to be screwed. Like, they're not going to be able to make money. Blitzkrieg! What's going on? Let's see, what can I play here? Oh, Frogger. I always like Frogger. Frogger's a good one. I don't know, I'm going to see what happens. On a channel level, I put my videos as not for kids. So I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I know I've read the rules and stuff, and it said something like, if they find that, you know, there's intent that you are making obviously for kids, but then you mark your channel as not for kids, that they'll take action. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how anybody would actually look at my channel and say, yeah, that's for kids, when most of the stuff I talk about is probably 30 years before they were even born. So it's just weird. And perhaps, you know, there's a lot of channels where, oops, this won't affect them. Hey, we got Kirk's Arcade. Yeah, there's probably a lot of channels where this won't affect them, like, you know, a cooking show maybe, or you know, somebody talking about plumbing or electrical work. Sure, they can have their channel, but let's be real here. A lot of people are going on YouTube for entertainment, and entertainment falls under like movies, video games, television shows, toys. I mean, how could they just make all content for kids and then shut off all your comments, shut off your ability to make you know, any kind of decent living? I mean, for people like me, it's not a big deal because I make pennies off of YouTube. I don't make much money off of the ad revenue. My views aren't high enough that it really makes a difference. I mean, if they shut off my ad revenue, they shut it off. It's not going to change my life at all. I'm not one of those YouTubers that makes money off of this. But for the people that do, I mean, it will be a real impact. Man, I couldn't get into that last cubby there. Little cubby hole. And, you know, I often wonder about these, like, I've seen those channels where it's like a kid opening up toys of today, like, you know, the stuff that my kid buys or wants, you know. They open packages of Shopkins or whatever, or LOL dolls or whatever's, you know, the big thing of today, and kids go nuts over that stuff, and they're pulling in like thousands and thousands and thousands of views, making lots, you know, probably making quite a bit off of ad revenue. They're going to be affected by it. For me, if YouTube were to flag my channel as for kids, I mean, it would pretty much just render it dead, because the kids wouldn't watch my stuff, and you guys probably wouldn't even know the video existed, because they won't be advertising it, they won't promote it. So that probably means it won't even show up on your feeds. I mean, the monetization thing, yeah. And the comments section, and that's kind of like what the Atari creep was talking about. And what kind of affected him the most was the comments section. I mean, I like the comments section. I like when people leave comments. I think it makes more, you know, it's more engaging to me than things like the thumbs up and thumbs down, which to me doesn't mean anything. It just means that you showed up on my video and clicked that button. It doesn't tell me anything about why you clicked that button. Like, you liked the video. Why did you like the video? You hated the video. Why did you hate the video? So I've always been a kind of a, I don't understand the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. The comments for me have been the big thing. That's what I like. I like the comments. I like the interaction. That's the whole point of this. Otherwise, we would just be like TV, and you get zero interaction on TV. So I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe enough outrage will happen, and I don't think we're gonna know until the new year. Honestly, I don't think, because there's still probably putting things into place. They're probably still testing the waters. The No Swear Gamer, he even said that himself, that, you know, some of his videos are flagged for kids, but the comments are still there. And then he's betting that probably in, you know, the new year, whenever they flip the switch, then the comments will be gone. And the ad revenue and everything else. Like, that's when it's going to happen. So, I don't know. I've been combing through my videos, looking to see if any of them got hit as for kids. Even though I changed it on the channel level, I didn't. You never know if the bots or whatever are going to change it, overthrow it, whatever, override it. And there's a few things that a couple of videos I've done where they probably could be labeled as for kids, like the Ghostbusters 2 Playmobil toys. I bought those at the dollar store. They're modern. They're toys that kids would play with. That one could be labeled as for kids. I don't know. Even the Funko Pop Back to the Future thing. That might fall under that, because, you know, the Funko Pop, I don't know. I don't know who the target audience is, if that's for retro people or if it's for kids or whatnots. I think I'm gonna die. Oh. Whew. Just made that. I mean, retro gaming, like this type of stuff, a lot of these kids don't know what an Atari is. Jeez, I know millennials that don't even know what an Atari is. Like, I've talked to some people, and I said, you know, I do a YouTube channel, and they're like, oh, what do you do? I say, you know, I talk about video games, and they're immediately saying things like, oh, you play Minecraft, or do you play, you know, whatever, some modern game, and I'll be like, no, you know, Fortnite. No, I don't play Fortnite. I've never played. Okay, we're reconnecting. That's a good sign. See if I can get back to the pop up the chat. Live again. Yeah, that was weird. Just all of a sudden, it just bleh, gone. Hopefully that doesn't keep happening. And I was trying to connect with my phone, but I couldn't even get through that either. I don't know. I think maybe my phone was still trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, and that's why I wasn't getting anywhere. I was being a real jerk. Oh, let's play some Frostbite now that we're back on air. A little bit of a snafu there. It's funny how the longest time I kept forgetting that you can change the direction the ice goes. I was always like, how are people beating this game all the time, or getting anywhere in this game? Knowing how to shift the ice is a important thing. And that's basically, you just hit the fire button. See, I think when I played this, I always figured that the fire button didn't do anything. But now that I know it does... Oh, I died. Still not the greatest at this game. Oh no! Sunk. As you can guess, that's the joys of live streaming. Sometimes I wonder if it was my internet or if it was my, it's just my computer. Because I know I've had that before, where everything else seems to be getting internet in this house and my computer doesn't, so... Oh, I think you can get the fish. Yeah, that's right. It's another thing I always forget. The fish you can touch. They're like the only thing you can touch in this game. There's too much stuff on the board right now. Gotta get down there. There we go. Yeah, see, this makes a big difference when playing this game, of understanding that you can shift the ice blocks. So no wonder why I never got anywhere in this game. I learned that from watching No Swear Gamer's review on this game. Uh-oh. Oh no, I froze. Uh-oh. Oh no. J-Love! What's going on, J-Love? Glad you could pop in just around the time after I got my internet back up and running. I was kind of stuck there. My internet froze on me for about 10 minutes. And I was scrambling to try and get it back up. Although you stream a lot, so you probably know what I'm talking about. When your internet goes down in the middle of a stream and everybody's like, "What happened?" Staring at that screenshot of your face. Here's where I wish you could actually jump right to left. Of course, if you could do that in this game would be too easy. Uh-oh, I'm gonna freeze, I'm gonna freeze! Oh, I froze. I'm dead. What is Green Lantern saying there? My connection is fine for months, it seems. Thought you kicked me out. Yeah, I kicked you out. Then it'll go down for hours. That's it, you know, you never know with these streams. You never know when they're just gonna kill you. They're just gonna throw you off the internet and... Let's see. What should I play today? Oh yeah, Hero's fun. I always like Hero. Play this version of Hero. Now this is a game, if you can manage to get yourself a cartridge, it's worth it. It could be a little bit expensive, but real cool game. If you're a fan of Metal Jesus Rocks, he loves this game. He always talked about Hero. It's one of his favorite Atari games, or his most favorite Atari game. It's a shame I never had this as a kid, because I would have played the crap out of it. I did have it on the Commodore 64, and that's pretty much where I played it. That's where I got used to it anyways. But this is a great game. I mean, I can imagine if back in the day when this came out, a lot of people who were real big Atari fans, they would have been kind of, blown away by this. Having these multi-levels like this, being able to go all these different caverns and stuff. I mean, it's sort of like Pitfall 2 in a way, but a little bit more to it. I mean, in a sense, Pitfall 2 does kind of feel like, a lot of it is redundant, the level design and stuff, whereas this just feels like everything is different all over the place. And the skill level changes throughout each level. Not only do you have to memorize all the pathways, but you just gotta get good at controlling the character. Now I'm playing this on a gamepad, which is not the best. I know I've said this before. I'd really prefer playing this on a actual Atari 2600 legitimate joystick. That's how I prefer to play this game. I've played this on many different kinds of controllers, and I just find that the classic Atari joystick, this guy, this is what I should be playing it on, but I can't connect that to my computer right now, so I have looked into it though. There is something you can buy that actually allow you to connect that to your PC, but it's like a tiny little wire extension. And I think what the one I found online, it was like $30 or something like that, plus shipping, and it would have been a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, I'll stick with the gamepad. Uh-oh, I'm out of dynamite. Now I have to shoot the walls. I used up all my dynamite. This sucks. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm gonna be... Okay, good. I'm at the end. Whew! Crisis averted. Forgot, you have to, like, not waste dynamite in this game. Especially in the later levels. Literally give you just enough to get through. If you waste one, forget it. You're shooting every wall that you go through. Oh no! I blew myself up. And a snake ate me too. That's what I mean. I think it's the control element. Like, gamepads are great for games like, you know, Super Mario Brothers, where Mario's character is kind of all over the place. He can jump at all different angles. It's very easy to control him. This guy, he's very stiff. I mean, to take off from the ground, there's like a second or two delay, and you know, trying to get close to these like that and not die takes precision. And when you have a gamepad that just pushes you further with one little tap than, say, if you were on a joystick, that's, you know, a couple seconds makes a difference. At least to me, anyways. You know, there could be some people who just really love playing this with a Sega Genesis controller on a real Atari, and, you know. Frankly, I've never really been a fan of that. I know, like, the Atari creep does sometimes. He plays with the Genesis controllers and stuff. I don't know. I've done it a few times, and I'm not too crazy about it. Just not too crazy. Even on my Commodore 64, I always use, like, the Atari joystick, or one of those other, you know, pro joystick things. Like some of the ones that had, like, the fire button on the top of the joystick and on the side. Even though, you know, it's the same button. It's more of a preference, depending on the game you're playing. I've had a couple of those joysticks that had the suction cups on the bottom. I actually think I still have those, but I don't think they're very, like, I don't know. They're not as responsive. They probably need to be pulled apart and cleaned. Yeah, the 7800, that's the other thing too, the 7800. But I always looked at the 7800 as being a little bit more like a Nintendo. Like the graphics and the gameplay and all that almost matches a Nintendo. And I think they could have been pretty good rivals if they did their marketing right. Especially if the 7800 would have come out just before Nintendo, when it was supposed to. The channel had commercials. Sorry, it's hard for me to read those chats. I'm gonna have to figure out some other way to read chats when I do these streams, because for whatever reason the video game screen, it gets fixed in like the center of the screen. I can't seem to move it, and it covers over a portion of the chat. So it never used to. I don't know. Something changed. I know at one point I used to have a second computer beside me just so I could read the chats. It's okay, I'll catch up on the chat soon. After I die. Good thing about these games is there's not a lot of, you know, these games don't take hours to play. They're minutes. I think that's why I like doing a live streams with Atari, because I can switch games really easily. When you play like Nintendo games, a lot of them are designed to be played for quite a while. Something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You wouldn't just play that for 5 minutes, you'd probably play it for 25 minutes. Unless you want to play it like with the Atari, of course you can play the same game over and over and over. Maybe you're trying to get the highest score on it or something. But I always like just switching games every once in a while, just like I used to. Take a cartridge out, put another one in. When I played my Intellivision as a kid, I always did that. I never sat there and just played one game. I played several games. It's just the way I always did it. Send a random person to Mars, but we can't do a chat screen. Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I used to do my streams, I was able to resize the chat window. Like, I have the chat window on the side of my screen there. And I used to be able to resize it so it would fit. Now when I do that, it cuts off the text. So I can't read the full text. So I don't know what to do there. I can't really, and this Atari emulator doesn't allow me to change the positioning of it. It stays dead center. It won't, I can't move it. It's one of the problems I have with the Atari emulator is that once it's open, I can't do anything else on my computer unless I close it. I can't even, like, use my mouse. Like, I have to literally exit out of the screen. I don't know why that is. The NES emulator that I use doesn't do that. I can reposition it. Even the arcade, the MAME one, when I play arcades, I can reposition the screen and still do other things while the game is playing. With Atari, no. It just locks it into place and stays there. I tried looking in the settings to see if there was something like a, you know, unlock or something, or make the screen movable. But there's nothing there. There's full screen, but that ain't gonna help me. So the other option is to have a split screen, double monitor, which was going to be my plan. I was going to get a second display, like what I think Rex is saying there in the corner of my eye. But then I realized my computer can't do it. It's only got the one video card or something. I don't know. I looked into it, and apparently my computer can't handle two screens. So probably something I'll have to look into if I go to buy another computer. Mind you, if I had a much bigger monitor, it probably wouldn't be a problem. You know, that could just be it too. Maybe I just need to buy a bigger monitor. This monitor I'm using, it's kind of small. It's actually, you know, I've had this one for a long time. It was the monitor I used on my old computer, my previous computer. And so when that computer died, I just bought a CPU thing and I didn't buy another monitor. So, you know, it's a really small monitor. It's actually, it's not one of those fancier widescreen things. USB video. Oh no! Okay, let's see what the chat's going on there. The game is too twitchy. I got good enough at Hero when I was a kid that I would just quit playing because I'd never die. Built the NES clone pad for the 7800 from a kit, and now it's my go-to Atari controller. Yeah, that would be cool though, because I know you can't just plug in, say, a Sega Master System or anything, or Genesis. You have to like have it specially wired to work for the 7800. So Rex, that channel you had about toy commercials, do you have any other channel where I could see them? Yeah, it's a shame that you had to delete all your videos. Supposed to use a second display for chat. Yeah, that's what I thought you said. You should use the Retro Arc USB video adapter. Got a question for anybody who can answer. I'm trying to emulate Airwolf arcade game, but not at a PC. Any ideas of where that emulator? Good question. Hey, Papa Pete, just popped in to say hello. Yeah, I saw you had your video premiered today too. I was going to watch it, but we ended up having a late dinner tonight, so I couldn't catch the premiere. But I'm definitely going to check that out. So I saw you were talking about I think it was 5 Intellivision games you're looking to see on the new Amico, if I got that right. Let's play Joust. We all love Joust. It's another game I was kind of, amazed at when I was younger. Got it as a birthday gift. I was surprised that I was like, this is really good for an Atari game. Oh, Nelly. Okay. That was not cool. Come back, egg. Of course, there's also the other game, Sir Lancelot, which is similar to this game too. Eggs for breakfast. Oh, I thought I was going to land right on his head. Physics in this game can be quite challenging sometimes. They call it joust, but in most cases you're just better off landing on their head. You can joust, but you don't always win that. Oh, almost touched the lava. And there I go, touching the lava. This is where it's just the eggs. Gotta have great control of your character on this one. Oh no! No! Why? No. I like how the character just like pops like a balloon. It's like, what is going on there? The guy and his little birdie just explodes. I don't think that's what happened when people were jousting back then. I don't think you just popped like a balloon. Oh, jeez, I missed. Okay, come on. You can do it. There we go. Hopefully the stream is 100% now and it's not messed up. I don't know what's going on. I still don't understand why that happened, why I lost my stream there. It was kind of weird earlier this morning. Like I said, when I was watching, I decided to watch The Matrix for the very first time in my life. I started watching and it was right in the beginning, and then we had like this power surge in the house. Like I heard a kind of a funny pop sound. I think it was my air conditioner or something, and the TV shut off. Everything just shut off for like a second, and I was like watching TV in just a regular lit up room, so I didn't have any lights on or anything else. So the only indication that I knew the power went off was the TV just shut off, and I could see in my kitchen the microwave light was off, and then it popped back on again, and I was like, what just happened? And it took a while for the TV to boot back up. It really pissed me off because I was, you know, really getting into the Matrix there. Like it just started, and it was just, you know, the beginning chase scene, and so by the time my TV got back up to normal and booted up, and I was able to start watching it again, I'm like, what's going on? But I was like, you know, it's on the movie network that I'm watching, so I can always just go back and watch it on the demand option that they give you. Maybe the Albatross guy. Just kind of annoyed by it too, because I guess they were doing like a marathon where they played all 3 Matrix movies back to back, and I watched the first one, and then the second one, the Reloaded one, was after it. But I thought, you know, I'll just catch that later on demand, because that's the service I have. It's it has like 5 channels, and they play like movies throughout those channels. Ah, you killed me. Just at scheduled times, but then you can go into this menu system, kind of like Netflix idea, where all these movies are listed. And so I was going to go and watch the second one, and they only put the first one in there. So I'm like, crap, now I can't watch the second and the third one. I'll have to wait to see if it comes on Netflix or something else. I even checked Netflix, and it's like, they're only playing The Matrix. The first one. I'm like, I just saw that. I need to see the second one now. And it drives me nuts, because there's other movies where they put the whole series on there, like, you know, part 1, part 2, part 3. We got like all 7 of the Saw movies on there, or 8 of them, or whatever, however many they made. But they only put the one Matrix movie on. So I'll have to wait until later to actually see the sequel. It is strange that it took me that long to actually finally get around to watching The Matrix. Okay. The Zombiac. Did I say that right? Zombiac? Came into the chat there. Sorry, I'm going to try and read your comment in a minute here. The game window tends to cover over my comment box very well, so, hard to see it. You can only see the beginning part of the conversation, which is annoying. I'm going to have to try something different next time. I don't know, I might just... Maybe I'll just try and buy a new monitor. That might solve my problem. Get myself a nice big monitor. Oh no! I mean, I shouldn't be using this crappy little monitor in the first place. And it's not like I don't have the room for a bigger monitor. My desk is pretty big here, so there's no excuse for that. Oh no! I think I was always thinking, when I go to buy a new computer, I'll just buy a new monitor, but so far I haven't bit the bullet and started looking for a new computer. You should try some more Zelda ROM hacks. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I did start that one zombie, the one, what was it called? I forgot the name of it. I was playing that one Zelda game. I should get back to playing that one again, because that one was pretty fun. I think I only got to like the third labyrinth or something. Green Lantern saying, new segment for you, movies I haven't gotten to. Actually, that's funny you mentioned that, because I was toying around with doing that. There is quite a few movies that I'm sure most people would assume I've already seen that I haven't actually seen. Things like the Goonies. I've never seen the Goonies. And that's weird. Even I find that weird, because that seems like a movie I would have watched when I was a kid, but I've never seen it. And like The Matrix, which I never seen up until today. I finally got around to seeing it. Let's try some Kung Fu Master. I'm terrible at this one, but that's okay. Go watch it now. Yeah, and then there's all this talk about this, the Goonies making a sequel or something. You know, and it's weird because, you know, I was one of those people that watched a lot of the movies in the 80s that when they came out. I watched the Neverending Story, and, you know, I think the thing is, me and my friends, we used to watch, like... Is he just gonna stand there so I can kill him? Ah. We used to watch a lot of the same stuff over and over again. Like, I don't know how many times I watched Ghostbusters and, you know, things like that. We would always like watching the same movies. We watched the Police Academy movies. So, like, I think oftentimes we just pick movies that we've already seen it hundreds of times. That's probably why, you know, I missed out on some classic movies. Never beat that guy. Never seen Goonies? Jeez, unsubbing. Yeah. I'm not worthy. Well, at least I've seen things like E.T. and Gremlins, so I wasn't that far behind. I think I saw E.T. in, I think I saw the E.T. movie in a drive-in, too. I'm trying to remember, like, you know, this is going way back, but I still remember going to see Gremlins. And I remember afterwards going into, the department store, and they had the toys there, and I bought a what's his face, Gizmo toy right after seeing the movie. Oh, I finally killed that thing. Did I finally make it to the second? Oh, don't get here very often. What's going on? What's going on? It's all this crap falling. How do we beat this? Oh, man. I think, you know, during that time, I think one of the movies I remember watching a lot was Police Academy 2 for some reason. I think because of Bobcat in it. It was like one of my favorite movies that we used to watch over and over again. Even today I love watching it. It still makes me laugh. Guy's hard. Well, I did watch me suck at this game for this one. That's an indicator that I'm not too good at this. Good God. Come on, man. I ended up buying this game at a flea market, and I didn't even know that it existed. Oh man, he just punched me in the crotch. I remember seeing it at the flea market, and I'm like, this game was on the Atari? And I paid, like, I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I remember the lady that was selling it, she was asking, like, way too much for it. And I think I ended up, like, getting her to drop the price a bit. And I was even doubtful that the thing would even work when I bought it, because it was pretty dusty. Like, it wasn't even in good shape. And she was asking all this money for it. I'm like, you know, why? You know, it looks like it's damaged almost. And but she's like, if it doesn't work, just bring it back, and no problems. And so I brought it home, and I was so doubtful that this was even gonna work. They cleaned the crap out of it with my Q-tips and alcohol and all that stuff, and I plugged it in, and I'm just like, guaranteed it's not going to work. And I turned it on, and it didn't work at first. It gave me a blank screen, and I took it out, and I gave it a little bit of a clean. I used a bit of sandpaper, like the light grit sandpaper, which I don't think was a good thing to do, but that was all I could think of at the time. You know, sometimes people use that on, you know, to try and get some of the corrosion off. And then I cleaned it again with some alcohol, and it worked. So it still works today, which is good. The label's not in the best of shape, but then again, a lot of my Atari games, I think with most people, the labels are pretty much shot on a lot of them. Especially Activision games, with that crappy glue that they use. Now this guy, oh, he always kills me. I'm only worse at Double Dragon on this system. That's stick and move, punch, kick him in the crotch, land of view. Got him. Yeah, the hit detection in this is horrible. I don't know, this second level thing, I don't seem like I'm hitting anything. I don't get it. Am I just supposed to avoid this stuff? Like, the jumping is terrible in this game too. Like, he just jumps straight up. He can't really jump forward. Like, the jumping, yeah, you like literally have to stop and just jump. And it's not the fire button that jumps either, it's the up button. My timing is off. There we go, you have to wait for that thing to spawn before you jump. That's my mistake. See, I keep doing that. Oh. Gotta wait for him to start coming at me. Hey, these guys. Where's this little dude? What's that? I don't think I've made it this far before. That's pretty sad. Oh no. This guy's got like ninja stars that return to him. How's that fair? Who has a ninja star that comes back at you? Ah, whatever. Yeah, I didn't know this was an Atari game till now. Yeah, I mean, it surprised me. But there was a lot of games that came out for the Atari much late in the day, too, that I never heard of. This must be a homebrew. No, it ain't no homebrew. It's actually an official title. It was actually released for the Atari. I finally beat the NES version last week of Kung Fu. I've beaten every game of my childhood, including Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. For some reason, it could not beat Kung Fu. Yeah, you know, I was like that too. I used to be able to beat a lot of the Atari games, even the Mike Tyson's one. I remember beating Mike Tyson, but today, I have a hard time even getting to Mike Tyson. This is way too advanced for a 2600 game back in the day. Oh, it's a boomerang. Okay, that makes sense. Looked like a ninja star to me. Alright, take care, Green Lantern. Thanks for popping in. Let's play... Oh, you know what? One game I always like to play when I do my streams, just to see if I can get better at it, is some Princess Rescue. Because I'm always trying to improve my game on this. I don't seem to get very far. Speaking of homebrews. Still sucks that you can't buy this anymore as a, you know, from the Atari Age site or anything. This would have been a great game to actually play on a real Atari. But, they just don't make them anymore. I thought there was a growth or something. Hey, Ryan's in the chat now. What's going on, Ryan? I think I'm gonna run out of time if I don't get my butt moving. Not finding anything. I usually find stuff in these bricks. Oh well. Just keep going. There we go. I remember when I tried playing this on my flashback, the game loads up, but you can't shoot the fireballs. For whatever reason. Am I running out of time? What's that noise? What's happening? Yeah, Princess Rescue is awesome. I would have loved this, like I've said this before, I would have loved this if this actually came out as a real game on the Atari. I mean, I still remember, you know, when I didn't have my Nintendo, and all I had was the Atari 2600. I mean, that doesn't, you know, when you really feel like playing Nintendo, there wasn't many games at the time on the Atari that would give you that experience, or even come close to Super Mario Brothers. The closest I had was Keystone Capers, and you know, that's really not the same type of game. But it is, you know, it does kind of give you a feeling of the multi-screen effect and sort of a platformer style of game, but nothing to this degree. Whoa. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm not good at this one. Definitely not good at. I'm just amazed at the sound effects on this one. How well they did replicating the you know, the actual Nintendo sound. Crap. Crap. Totally meant to jump there. I think also when he's in that big Mario form, it's he's kind of awkward because he's much larger than, you know, the spaces that you need to jump between and stuff like that. I find him a little bit easier, like, you see how big he is? So it's kind of awkward. But when he's the small Mario, he's a little bit easier to handle. Ah! I pressed the button and he just kept running. That is a very common thing to happen in games. Press the button and it doesn't make a contact. That's why, like, games like Punch-Out, you can't have any button failures when you're playing that game. You need, like, 100% responsiveness. Oh my god, am I not supposed to jump from that top thing? Is that my problem? I think I made it a little bit further than normal, but... Ooh, still pretty bad. There we go. I think there's a free man somewhere around here. Oh, if it was here... Wait, what is this? This is Princess Rescue. which is pretty much a Super Mario Brothers clone for the Atari 2600. It's a homebrew, so it was not nothing that was actually released officially. Really good Super Mario Brothers clone, though, for the Atari 2600. Pretty much the only way you're going to play this today on your real Atari is if you have those flash cards, because unless you were fortunate enough to pick it up when it first was available, finding these things now are pretty expensive. They're like, you know, people are asking over $100 if they're selling this thing, if they're reselling it, anyways. But if you have a flash card, or if you know, flashback 9, you can put it on the SD card. I think it might work. I don't know. I can't remember if anybody tested this game on the flashback. I mean, I used to play it on the flashback portable, but like I said, the fireball option didn't work. Oh no! The other option is if you have the Retron 77. Personally, though, I've never seen one for sale anywhere in my neighborhood. I don't know what happened to that system. I don't know why, like, if did they discontinue it or something, or what? Because I've just never seen one for sale anywhere. I don't go to too many retro stores. Maybe that could be the problem, but... or maybe they just sold out and just haven't recreated, haven't made new ones yet. I don't know. Nobody talks about it anymore. I think Kevin from Happy Beard Games, I think he uses a Retron 77 to play his some of his Atari stuff. Could be wrong, but I think I remember him saying that. Oh boy, I got the star. I always hit that guy. You know, I think my problem is that I try and play this game like I would with the real Super Mario Brothers, and you can't do that. It's not as responsive, put it that way. Alberta Premium Whiskey? Yes, it is. What's that? Here's a bootleg remake of Galaga for $55. See if the warp is there at the end of the level. Yeah, I think I've tried that too. I'd have an Atari flash card, but they want way too much money for. Yeah, they're not cheap. I've even considered getting the LTO flash card for the Intellivision, and that's not cheap either. Like, all these flash cards are pretty expensive. But it's okay, like, if you don't plan on buying any other games for it, that's fine. Then I'm gonna play this funky Donkey Kong game. This was, I think this was a homebrew as well. It's what we all wanted from Donkey Kong, but didn't get. I know I had three different, two different variants of the Donkey Kong game. I'm not sure what the other ROM I had. There was one that had, like, the extra 2 levels. But it still looked and played like the original Atari Donkey Kong. Alright, take care, Zombiac. I'm saying that right. Whoa. At least in this one, the barrels don't look like crackers. cookies. They actually look like barrels. Only thing is, geez, Donkey Kong is cut in half up the top there. So he kind of looks a little bit different. You can tell what they're doing with the sprites. Like, they're trying to put both halves together. Probably because they can't draw them properly. I don't know. It's just the way that the Atari games work. Can only handle 2 moving objects on the screen, so it has to redraw one and then redraw another, and it's a little bit tricky making these games. Programmers started to get clever on how they're doing these things. This is what the flashing and why the flashing comes in. No! Mind you, I haven't looked into, say, that trick I did learned about to do the Kickman game. Oops. Just trying to read the chat there at the same time I ran by the ladder. No! Let's see what you were saying there. Cheers to the Zelda ROM hack playthrough coming soon. Yeah, I'll get around to playing that. I still love the 2600 Donkey Kong Jr. Funny enough, I was playing that earlier on, and I was talking about how it's not my favorite out of all the Donkey Kong Juniors anyways. I don't know. The 2600 one just it's lacking to me. It's lacking. There's playability issues with it. And the graphics too, but sometimes I'm okay with the blocky or the graphics that aren't really there, but if the gameplay is bad and the graphics are bad, I'm not usually a fan of them then. It's funny, I was a couple of weeks ago, I was at the bookstore and they had the Retro Gamer magazine, which I believe is in the UK. That's where they make that one, or Australia or somewhere. And they had a whole section on Donkey Kong, talking about the history of Donkey Kong and all the different Donkey Kong games. And you know, I was really into it. I was like, you know, looking at the pictures and reading the article. I didn't want to pay the price though for the magazine. It was quite pricey because it's, you know, it's imported and stuff, and in our Canadian monies, it was like $25 plus tax. I'm like, I'm not going to pay like almost $30 for a magazine. So I kind of left it. But, you know, I looked at it, and they were doing a comparison of all the different Donkey Kongs from every system that it was on. And they showed like the screenshots, and then they kind of did, you know, from 1 to whatever of ranking it. And of course, the Intellivision one got the worst ranking. I was like, yeah, go figure. And even the Atari 2600 Donkey Kong beat it. But I don't blame them. You know, a lot of people hated the Intellivision version. I mean, Mario didn't look like Mario. The game only had 2 screens. The controls were hard, so I get it. I mean, for someone like me that played it when I was a kid and didn't really have any other versions of it to compare it to, like, you know, and eventually when I got my Commodore 64 and then I had Donkey Kong on there, oh jeez, I'm playing horrible. I don't think I've been on my game all day today here. But yeah, I mean, it's like, for me, the Intellivision Donkey Kong was my real first experience. You know, I would have played it in the arcades, but I didn't go to the arcades as often as I wanted to. So I was kind of stuck with the Intellivision one. And of course, when I got the Commodore 64 version, I was okay with it. My big complaint on that one is that Mario moves and jumps a little bit too slow. on the Commodore version. But it does have all the levels. Like, it does have this level in it, the pie level and stuff. And you know, that right there makes it worthy of playing. As you know, we didn't really get these on the console versions. We didn't really get the pie level, and sometimes we didn't get the elevator level, or the springboard level, or whatever they wanted to call it. You know, that kind of thing. How's the weather in eastern Canada? Well, Canada's been cold. We've had we actually just had a snowstorm about a week ago, our first snowstorm, and we've had snow ever since. So it's been pretty crappy. Yeah, but to have Donkey Kong on a whole console was... Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, and I remember getting it, and I remember getting really excited. It was like Easter gift, and it was like, you know, got up in the morning, went to... And I saw it sitting there, and I grabbed it, and I ran downstairs. You know, immediately started playing it on my Intellivision, and I was fine with it. I thought it was a cool game. I always enjoyed playing it. Obviously, when you get older and you start to realize that the other versions of the game are much better and whatever. But you know, for me at that time, it worked for me. I enjoyed it. I loved playing it. I didn't like that. I never liked that it only had the 2 levels, because I knew the ColecoVision version had the 3rd level, the springboard, the elevators, you know, it had that level. And I was kind of like, why doesn't the Intellivision have that? But, you know, whatever. And then when I finally got around to trying the Atari 2600 version, and I realized it was pretty much the same as the Intellivision version, it just, the graphics were different. That was about it. And I'm not crazy about the Atari one either, because I don't like the second board on how it doesn't really look like the same level. And the way the fire barrels operate, they're really predictable. I mean, they don't even go up the ladders. They just go right to left, and that's it. So, I don't know. I just never really liked that version either. But, yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody for coming in. You know, it's been a while since I did my stream. I think it was, like I said, I think it was Halloween when I did my last stream. Or just before Halloween, I did the Atari games, the horror-themed Atari games or whatever. But yeah, I've been meaning to get back to streaming. It's just things have been popping up. Things have been busy. Like I was going to do a stream yesterday, and I just never got around to it. Been pretty lazy this whole weekend, actually. So I gotta get back into doing some more streaming. Like I said, I was almost going to do Nintendo streaming today. But now that, you know, and Zombiac was up there talking about the Zelda game that I was doing, the homebrew, or the hack, I mean, or whatever it was, I should get back to doing that. DN517101. Hey Brian, my favorite part of planes, trains, and automobiles is when the lady at the airport says gobble gobble. Yeah, I love that. That whole scene was just brilliant. The whole scene where he comes in from the airport, he's all got the tie around his head, he's all pissed off, and he's standing in the lineup. And I think that happens to a lot of us. Like when you're standing in the lineup and you just want to get the heck out of there, and the cashier is having a grand conversation with the person that she just, you know, checked all the person's stuff out, and you know, you're just like, come on, person, move it, and it drives you nuts. So I can imagine the anger he would have felt standing there when she's talking on the phone and talking about having a great Thanksgiving, and he's just pissed off. That was a great scene. And of course he gets up there and swears in her face for a good minute or so. And like I said in my video, like if they would have cut that out, it would have completely changed the rating of that movie. Bumper Bash is a good pinball game on the 2600 too. Yeah, Bumper Bash. And that uses the paddles too. That's a little bit more of a rare title. I think I tried looking for it at one point, and they were pretty expensive. I'm trying to remember the name now. Who made that one? Bumper Bash. I know I have it as a ROM, but oops. I would like to check it out one day on a actual Atari. I mean, I played Midnight Magic. That was my go-to pinball game on the Atari. I think I passed it. Way past it. Bumper Bash. Spectral Video. It's more common over here in Australia, PAL, than NTSC. Yeah, and that's that's pretty common too. Is that a lot of the games that were more common over there weren't common here, and I think vice versa. There's probably some more common stuff here that you guys probably don't have. But also, I think in Australia and in South America and a few other parts of the world, the Atari kept going, whereas here it kind of crashed and burned. But there was a lot more going on over there, a lot more sales going on over there. And in North America, when we had our video game crash, everything just kind of went to hell. A lot of the Atari games were going into the discount bins, and I guess a lot of places just stopped creating the games and stopped selling them and stopped marketing them, and that's just all kind of went, the way of the way it went. Anyways, yeah, I should check out now. It's almost about 10:30 my time, and I gotta get up for work. Anyways, thanks everybody for coming in. We got quite a few people here in the chat. I know in the beginning there I had a little bit of a, problem with my internet. It happens. I get that. Usually when playing the, doing the live streams, you're gonna expect that you're gonna get some interruptions. But I was able to get it back up and running. So that was cool. I almost gave up. I was like, it was like 10 minutes in, and I'm like, I'm still no connection. I'll probably just cut it. But we got it. We got it working. What operating system are you running that emulator on? I'd love to get the emulator. Oh, this is an old computer. I don't know. This is a Windows 7. I've had this computer for a while now. I've really been contemplating on getting a new one, but it's just as long as the computer still works, it's hard to justify just going out and spending the money to get something new. I don't know. Maybe that's just my mentality, but it is hard, and But I'll see. I think what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to look into a better monitor. Maybe what's coming up? The Black Friday thing's coming up, and Cyber Monday's coming up. Maybe I can get myself a cheaper monitor, a better, bigger monitor than this little tiny thing that I've had forever. But yeah, I mean, I'm even using a webcam because there's no built-in webcam on this thing. It's so freaking old. It's a flat screen one, but it's it's not one of those bulky monitors that look like a TV. But I mean, it's a small, older one, so kind of cheap. Anyways, thanks everybody for coming into the chat. Like always, I should have a new video up on Tuesday. I don't know. Sometimes I throw in a video here and there, depending on if I can get it. Can you post a link on where I can download that emulator? Which emulator are we talking about? Did I miss something in the chat? Don't even have a video card. I have an Ryzen. Yeah, I don't know. You're not talking my language there. But anyways, thanks everybody again for coming in, and we'll talk to you later.